I think that this Miami Dolphins team has assembled basically a track team on offense to surround Tua. Tua's always been an accurate quarterback, and I think Tua's been hearing all the noise, this year. And I think Tua's ready to step up and guide this team to the postseason.
Hey, Woody, you're the master of this segue. You led me right into this because yesterday, Tua's new teammate and his, of course, biggest fan, Tyreek Hill, had more praise for another Dolphins teammate. This time, it was wide receiver Jalen Waddle. So take a listen.
Oh, they're scared. I'm going to tell you what, J-Dub, he's faster than I thought. When I first got here, I was like, okay, he's a 4.3. Because typically, when you see 4.3 guys, they don't run as fast on the football field, but J-Dub, he actually runs a 4.3 on the football field. There's a difference, right? So, like I said, man, I'm very excited for the season. I can't wait to see him blossom and continue to move his game forward, which I know he will.
All right, so he says opposing defenses should be very scared of the two of them. And, of course, earlier we heard him gushing about Tua's arm strength and calling him the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. Jeff, you've covered this team since 2005. You're right there in Florida. What do you think of all his talk coming in?
I kind of like it. I know that there's probably people outside of South Florida who are like, all right, you guys settle down there. But there has been this dark cloud that has just hovered over that organization, a negativity, some cynicism that just always has existed since I've been covering the team since 2005, that when you have this confidence and bravado out of a star player like this, and it's both kind of emboldening everybody around him, I think it's something that's welcomed in South Florida. So I get it. It feels like hyperbole. It feels a little over the top. But I think down there, it's kind of welcome. So
you like a little of that KC swag coming down to South Florida.
You don't get a lot of that. I mean, you get it in South Florida. You just don't necessarily get it at the Dolphins organization.
Right. There you go. Hey, Mike T, how does this play into new head coach Mike McDaniels and the culture that he's trying to establish there? Oh, there is no Mike T here. I apologize. I'm sure Mike T has great thoughts about that. But Woody, they're trying to establish a new culture, and really, with Tua, how much is he the beneficiary of that? Not only with a coach who supports him, but really with Tyreek Hill coming in and saying these kinds of things about him.
Yeah, you know what, Hannah? My wife always talks about breathing life into people. She's a half glass full type person. And so that's why I look at, Tyreek Hill is doing. It's been this negative cloud surrounding Tua, seems like since he's gotten to South Florida, and in comes Tyreek Hill from Kansas City. He's just breathing life into his quarterback. So I like it. I like what, Mike McDaniels and that system is going to be able to bring to the table. As far as Tua is concerned, it's a run-based system. Take some pressure off. I think the biggest question with the Miami Dolphins, this offensive line. If this offensive line can come together and perform better than what they were last year, which they were atrocious last year, then I think this offense can be very scary down in Florida, down in South Florida, because the one thing that they have a lot of is speed. Speed scares a lot of people, and they have it aplenty down there.
Yeah, I love what Damien just said about breathing life into people. What Tua went through last year with Brian Flores, and I understand Brian Flores' departure was controversial for many other reasons, but when it's specific to Tua, he was a pretty negative force toward Tua.
We think of Tua getting benched, always having to look over his shoulder.
Even behind the scenes, I mean, look, I don't know how much people realize this, but based on all of my conversations, he was very hard on Tua. And Tua is the type of person that, it's been explained to me, that feeds better off of the positive energy that he wasn't necessarily getting from Flores. Mike McDaniel is doing a different job in terms of trying to empower him. We hear it from Tyreek Hill. We'll see if it ultimately empowers him this season.
Yeah, we'll see him telling our Adam Schefter, quote, that it is not looking good. He screamed loudly when he was injured, threw off his helmet when being attended to by his trainers. And now the Bucs interior offensive line has some serious questions. Even before Jensen's injury, they were going to have to replace the production of Pro Bowl guard Ali Marpet, who unexpectedly retired this offseason. Also guard Alex Kappa, who signed a 4-year deal with the Bengals. Jenna Lane was there at practice to watch this whole thing go down yesterday, Jenna. So already some big news out of Tampa. What's the latest information that you can tell us this morning?
Good morning, Hannah. The mood turned somber very quickly yesterday when Jensen went down, and I can tell you it feels a lot like that again today. As far as Jensen goes, he underwent an MRI yesterday, according to sources, but we're not going to have any sort of diagnosis or any additional updates on that, probably for a few more hours. But it was reiterated to me on multiple occasions yesterday that it is not looking good, and they believe this is a significant knee injury for Jensen. And you mentioned already that Brady is going to have 2 new guards this coming year, so he may potentially have an entire new interior. And, you know, back to the mood of just how quickly things changed here in practice. I asked GM Jason Light about that, and he said that is what happens when you have a player of Jensen's caliber and also a person of Jensen's caliber. A lot of players yesterday after practice, I was on the field with them. I saw numerous prayer circles taking place, and you could also see it in Brady's body language, Tom Brady's body language. He had his head down. He knew this was a serious injury.
Yeah, I mean, Brady came back to win another championship, and this is absolutely a huge blow. So you mentioned Jason Light. I imagine he's already been on the phone. Jenna, what are their plans to potentially backfill this position? We don't know how long he's going to be out, but in the meantime, however long that is.
And knowing the type of recruiter that Tom Brady is, I'd imagine he's already been on the phone as well. I think they're going to go after a veteran there. But as far as the immediate replacement-wise, Robert Hainsey is a guy that will be stepping in, at least on the interim basis. He was a 3rd-round draft pick last year. He only played 29 snaps, though, a converted tackle who moved over to center. He played 29 snaps on offense last year, but that was with Blaine Gabbert at quarterback, not with Tom Brady. He's never snapped with Brady in a game.
Wow. Jenna Lane, thanks so much. To be continued for sure, as one of the many reasons that Brady has been so successful in his time with the Bucs has been the quality of that offensive line over the last 2 seasons. Brady has only been sacked on 3% of his dropbacks. That's the lowest by any quarterback during that span. And we all know that this is Brady's MO, right? He needs that clean pocket to operate. He likes to step up and make those throws. So as we bring in his former setter, D. Woody, also Mike T, Jeff Darlington with us. Damian, knowing what you know about Brady and what he needs from that position, how serious is this loss potentially?
Well, listen, Hannah, make no mistake about it. This is potentially a huge injury. I mean, we're talking about one of the better centers that we have in the National Football League. And if you look at the Bucs, particularly from last year, all 3 interior guys or interior spots, they've moved on, whether it be, via free agency, retirement, and now injury. So, the Bucs got some work to do. Obviously, they traded for Shaq Mason, the right guard, and now you got to deal with the Jensen injury. That's not going to be something that's going to be easy to replace. So, Tom Brady is one of the best, maybe the best quarterback that I've ever